everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing good today. I'm out on the Shovelhead. I think this might be my last ride, and I've been riding it mostly just to work and back actually. So I just wanted to do like, you know, my one little, I don't know, what do you call it if it's not your maiden voyage, but it's like your last voyage? I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm just gonna get all my camera gear and stuff on, and then we're gonna head out. All right, time to go. For those of you who don't already know, I'm riding a jockey shift. Yeah, I've gotten pretty used to it. Stopping is still something I have to like really pay attention to. Just making sure the bike's leaning to the right more than it is to the left. But I think I'm doing not too bad. For anyone who might be wondering what I'm riding, I'm on a 1978 FX Shovelhead that my dad and I, with a bit of help from my brother, converted to an FL. This isn't actually my bike, it belongs to my dad, but technically it belongs to my brother. Under one condition, and I'll explain that. So my one brother, Sandy, my second oldest brother, bought this bike, I don't know, about maybe 7 years ago now or something like that. And he just kind of bought it as a running bike that needed to be put back together. It needed a bunch of work. And Sandy's always really liked the FL style shovel heads, so that was kind of like his vision for the bike from the start. He wanted to convert it to an FL, so he tracked down the stuff he needed for the front end. I think that he actually just bought the tin covers and stuff, and then my dad like modified the triple trees to be able to actually put the covers on. So my dad and my brother Sandy did that to this, and they did some other stuff to it. And then my brother Sandy ended up buying a house in Alberta and moving out to Alberta with his family. And he just didn't feel as though he was like prepared to kind of tackle a project like this on his own, since him and my dad were doing it together, and my dad's the one who's got all the experience fabricating and building motorcycles and stuff. So my dad then offered to buy the bike off of my brother, and kind of just with the promise that Sandy could buy the bike back at any point for the price that my dad paid for it, or for whatever my dad ended up having into it by the time the project was done. So that was kind of the deal, and at that point the bike belonged to my dad, and my dad and I started working on it together and converting it. And my dad was going to ride the bike until he just ended up getting too unhealthy for it because of his COPD. And anyways, over the course of the project, my dad was kind of always like telling me that he was going to end up giving the bike to me since I'd put so much work into it and stuff. And the condition would always remain, though, that Sandy can buy the bike back whenever he wants to, but the bike can't leave the family. So anyway, That's kind of where things were, and we ended up finishing the bike, and my dad still wanted to give it to me. But I've got like a shovel head already of my own. I've got a bunch of other Harley projects, plus a dyno that I ride. And I just kind of felt like I didn't need another shovel head. And my other brother, my oldest brother, Dusty, he's always wanted a Harley. And this is more his style of Harley too anyways. So I told my dad, like, well, maybe you should just give it to Dusty if you're gonna give it to somebody, because I really don't need another Harley. And this is like totally Dusty's style. So my dad talked to my other brother, Sandy, and just kind of like confirmed with him, I think. And then he ended up telling Dusty that he was going to give the bike to Dusty. And I kind of feel like Dusty like didn't really sink in with him right away. And then my dad and I ended up moving here to Kamloops, where my brother Dusty lives, and Dusty's like been around a lot more because we all live in the same town now. And he's actually like sat on the bike. He kick-started it actually the other day, and he rode it like last week or a couple weeks ago. And I think now he's actually like pretty excited about it. You can just tell that he's super stoked to be getting a Harley. And he said to me actually recently when we went out for our birthdays that he basically like he couldn't believe that Dad was giving him this bike, and that he'd kind of set in his mind that he was just never going to own a Harley until he was like really old one day and didn't have any kids at home anymore. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I'm really glad that this bike's able to go to Dusty, and I don't have to ride around with him on his Yamaha. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I think that this is definitely more suited to him. And yeah, it's really cool just to see like how excited he is about it, and I think it's great to just be able to like share the Harley joy. So anyway, Sandy kind of like during the time that my dad and I were working on this bike, shortly after he moved to Alberta, bought a Heritage Softail in 87, I think. And that's like, just like Sandy loves that bike. He just did a whole bunch of work to it, customizing it. He's got some videos of that on his channel. And yeah, so I think that kind of just made it so Sandy didn't really mind giving this bike up, even though it's technically not given up, because Sandy can always buy it back. Like that part of the deal will always remain, and Dusty's aware of that. But I don't know if Sandy really will ever buy it back. We'll have to see, I guess, how that all kind of plays out. I guess it'll depend on if his son Asher ends up getting into motorcycling and stuff. So yeah, Sandy's got his 87 Heritage Softail that he just built a custom exhaust system for, and he solid mounted the fender to the swing arm because he just didn't like how high up the fender was on the fender struts, so he cut the fender struts right off of his frame. And he's got the videos of all the entire process. I just don't think he's got them up on his channel yet because he hasn't really had time to edit them, and he needs a better computer. But his channel is called Sans32. If you want to go check it out, I'll link it up in the corner of the screen here. And you guys can go see what he's doing to his bike. this is probably like my last ride on this bike, or one of my last rides. And then I'll be bringing Dusty a gift letter, and he'll be able to put the bike in his name. I just did a little bit of work to my Shovelhead just so that I can put it on the road for a little bit. So I'll transfer the insurance off of this onto that, and then I'll ride that around for a month or two probably. But I honestly, I don't see my Shovelhead really being on the road for long this season at all, because I've been saying for the last like 3 seasons that I really need to take it off the road and just like take it apart pretty much and do a bunch of work to it. So yeah, it sucks, but at least I have my Dyna, so I don't have to go bikeless. And I end up riding my Dyna more in the summertime kinda anyway, just because we end up doing more road trips. And yeah, anyway, it's sad to think I won't be riding my Shovelhead much, but it is the way it is. At least I've got a motorcycle to ride. Here we are. Little river stop. Okay guys, so before it gets too dark, I should show you the bike for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Okay, so that's the bike with my helmet on the seat. I did change the bars on it because the bars that were on it, like, oh man, I was so stretched out just trying to reach them. And my brother prefers these bars also. They don't look as cool as the Sportster bars that were on there, but hey, you can't have cool and comfort all the time. I also installed this custom backrest, which is just great, actually, having that on there. It's obviously just a Mexican blanket, bungee corded onto the shocks, but I was sliding so far back every time I hit the throttle on the highway or something. I couldn't even take it up to its full capacity because I was just trying to hold on the whole time and not slide all the way off the back of the bike. Yeah, it's a lot better with just a backrest even, and those bars. I think my brother's gonna actually really like having those bars on there. We'll be changing the seat before he gets it, so we've got like a pretty fat cushy seat that goes on there that's actually made for that frame. That seat was just like a temporary thing because I was too short to actually reach the ground. Still a cool looking bike even with those bars on it. I guess those bars suit the FL look maybe I'm a little more. But yeah guys, it's not looking too bad. Anyway, I'm gonna go down here and check out this little river spot. It would make sense for me to take the blanket off the back of the bike and just sit down here and have a picnic, but it's getting dark and I'm cold because it's actually kind of cold out, so I'm just gonna like sit on a rock. It's a perfect tiny little sitting rock. Okay, let's sit on this rock. These chaps are not the most comfortable thing to try to sit down in. I just want to have some snacks. I don't really care about comfort right now. Beef jerky and vitamin water. Like this blue, the red, I mean, vitamin water. Yummy. The river looks like it's moving pretty fast. This is pretty good beef jerky. I love beef jerky. I just love beef in all its forms, dead or alive. Well, as much as I would love to sit here all night, I have to work early in the morning, so I'm gonna have to get back on the bike. I had a little snack, so I guess I'm good. All right, we'll see I'm not gonna try to turn around with the clutch. I'm sorry. That's a big ditch there that I don't want to end up in. Okay. So now we should be okay. I brought my yellows with me. These are just my crappy yellows, so I don't know where the heck I put my good ones. But I put them somewhere. I think I know where they are actually. I was in a rush when I left and these ones were right on the table. They just don't keep the wind out of my eyes very well like the other ones do. It's not as warm as I wanted it to be for this ride, but that's okay. At least you guys don't have to freeze with me. Yeah, I would actually love to do some long road trips or some good like camping trips on my Shovelhead. But man, it's just not ready for the road this year, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to spend the winter working on it, but I ended up moving instead, so kind of ended up taking like I don't know, like a good couple months just to get everything packed and then set up again in the new place. But that's okay because I'll have next summer, I guess. But there's like quite a bit I want to do on my bike. There's a lot of leaks. There's a lot of stuff leaking. The whole thing just needs to actually be gone over too, because I'm sure there's stuff that's rattled loose and probably on the verge of breaking on there. And while I have it all apart, I'd like to powder coat my frame, and I would like to build some kind of a removable like luggage rack type deal, as well as like a spare fuel can or like a way to carry some kind of spare fuel. And then that way I can actually take that thing for like longer road trips. I just need a way of carrying enough stuff and like tools and extra fuel. So I was looking at it today. I had to realign my transmission because I kind of screwed up the alignment of it last time I adjusted my belt tension. And I was doing that today, and there's a lot of bolts and fasteners and stuff that you just can't really get a wrench on when the bike's all together, because everything is just so like precisely and tightly fit together. Like I wanted my bike to be super compact, so it's definitely compact. I was just putting a wrench on a few of the bolts that I could get a wrench on just to make sure that things hadn't rattled loose and whatever. And it's a good idea to check that when you're riding a Harley or any motorcycle probably, but Harleys tend to vibrate themselves to pieces. So I was doing that, and it was a good thing because I found that one of the bolts for the cone cover was actually broken. Like the head of it was just broken right off. I don't know how that happened. I haven't had that cone cover off of there, and the last time it was off there was when the guy who did my top end redid my top end, and he took everything apart to clean it and just to check everything. So he would have been the last guy to put that on there. But the thing is the bolt itself like wasn't even tight in the hole. Like just the head of the bolt was broken off, and it was super rusty, and then the rest of the bolt was just loose in the hole. So I don't know. And then I was just checking over more stuff, and one of my crankcase studs was loose too. It was like finger loose, just like super sloppy on there. And I went to tighten that up, and the one nut was totally stripped out. So yeah, it's a good thing I checked those couple things I checked. It's just kind of ironic that the two things I checked were super loose. But yeah, I don't know. I guess there's probably a lot more stuff like that on my bike, which is why it needs to come off the road and just be gone over really well, because it hasn't really had a good going over in like a few years. And it hasn't really actually had like a full like check over since it's been on the road. Like, so that's like 6-7 seasons or something. And it's because every season I'm like, well, I could probably go another season. It's like eventually you can't just keep going another season. Let's see how I do with my driveway. This driveway is so bumpy. It's my first time going up it in the dark. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was scary. We made it and we're alive. That driveway is so bumpy. I need to do something about it. Anyway, guys, I gotta work early in the morning, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm glad I got to take you guys all out. This is my first riding video in my new place, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it. And like always, guys, if you like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me but you like my bikes, then like, comment, subscribe, turn on the little notification bell if you want to know every time I put a video out. And like always, my lovely YouTube people, I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. Hey everybody, and welcome. Oh, that one. Whoa, missed that one. Dang it. I look so haggard in the forward-facing camera. So that is so annoying. Oh my gosh, get off of my head. I'm gonna get this stupid camera off my chest, actually. My stupid camera just turned itself off because I said the wrong word and it thought it was talking to it. Everything is still recording. Yay! As soon as my camera just suddenly stops recording. Like just sucked in a bug.